Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Channel One NewsHour. It has been a very eventful day, and the President did deliver his much-awaited State of the Nation address to the National Assembly and the Senate. It was a joint sitting where the President did advocate for a change of heart, considering that the handshake did take place. The President saying that that particular handshake should be devolved. A very good evening to you. We have a comprehensive coverage of that lined up for you. But first, a look at the highlights.
Let us each apologize for our words and for the anger and malice that Kenyans heard. Let us shake hands and embrace our neighbors.
Spelling out his agenda, President Uhuru Kenyatta delivers his first State of the Nation address in his second term, indicting the political class for destabilizing the country. It is back to learning, but floods prevent several schools from opening for the second term. And a blow to the country's quest for a polio-free society. WHO says the virus strain reported in Isili, Nairobi. Once again, thank you very much for joining us, and we would love to hear from you on our opinion poll question tonight. We want to hear your thoughts on the President's speech. What is your view on the President's speech? What is your view on the President's speech? Do write to us. The number is 22162. Please indicate your name and where you are watching us from. You can also tweet us those details at KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle is at Ed Kabasa. What is your view on the President's speech? And you can also find us on Facebook, KBC Channel 1. My name is Edward Kabasa. Welcome to the program. President Uhuru Kenyatta delivered a grave indictment in the conduct of the political class, faulting them for the instability that rocked the country in the period before and after the 2017 general elections. Speaking during his State of the Nation address, the head of state said the country stood at the precipice of destruction as antagonists in the political arena incited Kenyans against each other. The president attributing his decision to close ranks with his political nemesis Raila Odinga to the obtaining situation, even as he rallied lawmakers to support newfound unity for the sake of the country's stability and development. Eric Begon has that for us.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta,
for the first time since he was sworn into office for his second term, President Uhuru Kenyatta delivered his eagerly awaited State of the Nation address Tuesday afternoon.
Kenyan Defense Forces and their speakers.
Previously, the head of state has performed this annual ritual in the month of March. This year's address seemed delayed. President Kenyatta would acknowledge before the MPs that it has been a period of reflection.
If we don't put an end to unrestrained political competition, it will put an end to Kenya.
This is especially so, particularly looking at events after last year's polls, which threatened the stability of the country.
You saw what happened in the heat of the campaign. Words of anger, malice, and hatred were spoken. Politics was no longer a debate between opponents on issues. It was a clash of irreconcilable enemies.
On this subject, the head of state delivered a grave indictment on the conduct of the country's political leaders.
We leaders have to admit that last year we failed in our duty to preserve the unity of this country, and we must make amends. First, I pray that all of us will spend the days and weeks after this address repairing the bonds that frayed last year.
Born out of this and in seeking a fresh beginning, President Kenyatta said he chose to set aside his political differences with NASA leader Raila Odinga.
I am not the only leader who deeply felt the need to restore unity. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga did so too. So let me praise the statesmanship he showed when on 9th March this year, he and I publicly committed to reconciliation with the Kenyan people as our witness.
While asking the MPs to rally behind the newfound unity, Kenyatta said the Building Bridges initiative is the first step in healing a country that has lived through a period of deep ethnic divisions.
We agreed to work together to strengthen the unity of our country. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga and I stood together, not because we agreed on every item of politics or policy, but because we agreed that Kenya is greater and belongs to all of us.
And in the true spirit of a fresh start, the head of state sought atonement of sins committed in the past.
And since leadership is best done not by extorting, but by example, let me do as I have asked you all to do today and say that if there is anything I said last year that hurt or wounded you, if I damaged the unity of the country in any way, I ask you to forgive me and to join me and to join me in repairing that harm.
Prior to this period of deep expression, the head of state had outlined successes of his regime, even as he drummed up support from the MPs to ensure success of the Big Four agenda. Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
And it is that story by Eric Begon that leads us to our opinion poll question tonight, where we are asking you what's your view on the president's speech. What is your view on the president's speech? Do send us those thoughts to 22162. Please indicate your name and where you are watching from. You can also tweet us at KBC Channel 1. Members of Parliament from across the political divide have welcomed President Uhuru Kenyatta's commitment to national unity. Speaking after the State of the Nation address at Parliament, MPs termed a calm political environment as a determinant for achievement of the Big Four agenda. The lawmakers also committed to change mode of politics from ethnic-based to issue-based as stipulated by the head of state.
Hotuba ya rais imekuwa mzuri. Rais amesema tushirikiane, tusameane, hata kama tulikuwa tumekoseana. Kama mtu alikuwa amekukosea umsamehe, na anataka turudishe sifa ya nchi ya Kenya mahali ilikuwa. Unajua Kenya ilikuwa nchi ya peace katika ulimwengu mzima.
If we want this country to develop, we have to be our brother's keeper. And he said that for everybody, and I want to say so, if there's anybody, even me, Senator Kenya, I have wronged, I want to say I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for the purpose of unity and continuity of this country.
And we are looking towards uniting Kenya, making Kenya one, and supporting the president in both government, both development building and the government as a whole.
The four agendas he has, they can only be achieved if Kenyans are united and they are working together in the same spirit of forgiving each other and also in moving forward. And that's exactly the message that the president has brought to the people of this republic.
It was one of the most powerful moments for our country. His sincerity was totally seen. I think his compassion and the desire to unite this country. And he also acknowledged that we've done a lot of things wrong and history will judge us badly. This is his second term. He wants the legacy to be that he's united Kenya.
Na amesema hata tufanye maneno ya upatanisho kwa bunge ili tuonyeshe wananchi ya kwamba tumejitolea hata sisi kuwa wapatanishi, na tumesalimiana huko kwa bunge. Amesimama kwa hotuba yake kwanza ili tusalimiane, na Hayo ni maneno ambayo hatujawahi ona katika nchi yetu kutoka kwa kiongozi ambaye ni incumbent president. Hatujaona maneno kama hayo.
The Big Four agenda was also on the menu, with President Uhuru Kenyatta emphasizing the need for the country to be food secure, have affordable housing, universal healthcare, and increasing the level of manufacturing in order to realize a dignified life for all. The President highlighted ongoing efforts such as Hunger Safety Net program to the elderly and vulnerable in society, increasing healthcare facilities, and incentivize policies to enable the private sector participate in housing projects and measures to alleviate poverty.
Over the last 5 years, Kenya has been able to increase the number of public healthcare facilities from 9,000 to 11,000 in a move in enhancing healthcare services and cushioning Kenyans from exorbitant bills they pay for their medication. And though this has reduced maternal mortality rates from 488 per 100,000 to 362 per 100,000 persons annually, the President said the government will be looking to expand NHIF universal healthcare coverage, as well as partner with county governments to enhance immunization efforts.
Despite the improvements we have recorded, there is no doubt that we still have a way to go. We need, in particular, to take steps to improve on immunization through much closer collaboration between the national government and county governments. Our NHIF coverage widened from a membership of 3.8 million in 2013 to 7.2 million currently. We expanded NHIF coverage for expectant mothers and raised deliveries by skilled attendants from 44% in 2013 to 66% in 2017.
The President said the mosquito net distribution program has helped reduce cases of malaria from 11% to 8%, with infant mortality also dropping down from 52,000 to 39,000 live births annually.
The result of other various health interventions, programs including the mosquito net program, incidences of malaria have dropped from 11% to 8%. Infant mortality has fallen from 52 per thousand to 39 per thousand live births.
On housing, he said the government will partner with the private sector, guided by incentivized legislations and policies, to facilitate construction of 1 million affordable housing units over the next 4 years.
This dream is going to become a reality, however, only if we all join hands to eliminate the barriers to its realization through legislation and new policies to incentivize, especially the private sector.
He said the Hunger Safety Net program introduced by the government targeting vulnerable households in arid and semi-arid areas affected by drought as well as the elderly have gone a long way in alleviating poverty.
And while we are working to deliver food security, we are taking steps to help Kenyans impacted by the long drought that had hit the country. The Hunger Safety Net program is cushioning Kenyans against hunger, and through it, cash was transferred to vulnerable households in most parts of our arid and semi-arid areas, giving them the choice of where and how to spend their stipend.
Nicholas Nduwati, Channel 1 News.
The 2018 State of the Nation address focused more on building political bridges after the unity deal between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. In his speech, unlike last year, the President hailed the opposition chief, even mentioning his name.
In line with the requirements of the Constitution in Article 132, President Uhuru Kenyatta delivered his State of the Nation address to a joint sitting of Parliament, outlining his government's agenda for the year to come. Unlike in the 2017 when the country's political temperature was charged ahead of the August polls, the 2018 speech dwelled mainly on taking the country forward, being the first in his last term in office. In 2017, President Kenyatta, while giving out the scorecard of the Jubilee administration, made a number of promises to be fulfilled before the year ended. The completion and operationalization of the standard gauge railway was among the promises. Wednesday, as the president delivered his speech, the SGR is up and running.
As I speak to you today, less than a year since the first train left Mombasa for Nairobi, nearly 700,000 passengers have taken Madaraka Express.
The mood of the House, and by extension the country, in this year's State of the Nation address was epic compared to the previous years.
Honorable Bosire, the speaker is on his feet.
Remember the 2016 chaotic scenes in Parliament when the opposition legislators disrupted the president's speech by blowing whistles. 2018 was the direct opposite.
Let us shake hands and embrace our neighbors.
Thanks to the Harambee House handshake between the president and opposition leader Raila Odinga. The same handshake extending to Parliament during the address. In Senate, a new command was also in charge. Kenneth Lusaka, who replaced former Speaker Ekwe Eduro and was at hand to receive the head of state. His first such task alongside National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, who retained his seat to witness this year's event.
Najua hii ndio mambo inakuja kuleta shida, inasemekana sasa hatutaki Senate.
Samson Kitavi, Channel 1 News.
Thank you very much, Samson Kitavi, for that report. And what is your view on the president's speech? That is our opinion poll question tonight. I have a couple of responses here. This is from Teddy Wamoy from Mumias, who's saying the president's speech is a sign of a nation that wants to prosper. Babu Wino's handshake is a symbol of welcome peace. Let us Kenyans forget politics and move on. Thank you very much for that. And I have one from Towet from Eldoret. You're saying the unity is perfect, but Kenya still has enemies. 1, corruption. 2, insecurity. Thank you very much for that as well. Here's another one. The president's speech was good. He talked of security of this nation. Another one here. The president talked about unity. His desire is we have a united nation. Hongera, President Uhuru Kenyatta. This is from Kimathi Christopher from Kawangware. Thank you very much. And then another one here. Joseph Mbito watching the news from Makuti, Ulanda Beach, Bondo. You're saying, I agree with the president's speech to maintain our country stability. We do thank you very much. Keep sending us those thoughts. Of course, we'll share with the rest of our viewers. The number is 22162. What is your view on the president's speech? Don't go too far.
The Easy Banking app is your bank anywhere, anytime. Everything you do at the bank is on Easy Banking app. You can use the app to send money, pay bills, buy and pay for goods and services, access easy loans, check the status of your account, save for future goals, and so much more. And now you can enjoy an even better banking experience with the just updated Easy Banking app. Loaded with a great suite of powerful features so you're always in control of your banking lifestyle wherever you are. Download the Easy Banking app from Google Play Store or App Store and link your Equity Bank account. If you do not have an Equity Bank account, open one hapo from the app. Easy banking. Experience convenience in life.
Track down one of Africa's fiercest predators. Even when caged, these cats are ferocious and dangerous.
I do think there's a lot more than people think. They just seem to keep popping up in the strangest of places.
But when one comes in injured, the team faces a difficult decision.
It's gone from the top of the food chain to the bottom of the food chain in the state it is.
And the holiday season arrives.
We've got our staff Christmas party on today, so there's quite a lot of stuff that's gone into it.
But will Santa bring Head Ranger Dixon Karaoke Championship honors?
My friend,
It's just another busy week in the life of a Kenyan game reserve.
Vote for KBC Channel 1 as your favorite TV station for the Kuza Broadcasting Awards 2018. SMS the word Kuza to 15601. It's absolutely free. Voting ends on 9th May. Vote, vote, vote.
Welcome back. This is Channel 1 News Hour, and a quick reminder of our opinion poll question tonight. We're asking you, what is your view on the president's speech? What is your view on the president's speech? Keep sending us those thoughts. The number is 22162. Please indicate your name and where you are watching us from so that we can share with the rest of our viewers. You can also tweet us at KBC Channel 1. It was a madrasa. Students, parents and guardians flocked bus terminals to various destinations as the second term kicked off. Confusion, however, marred the first day, with some schools failing to open as effects of the ongoing rains pounding most of the country continues to bite.
Nairobi Central Business District, Wednesday morning. Hundreds of students with their unique uniforms coloring the city streets at the various bus stations within the city. It was a beehive of activities. Some students and passengers left stranded as the demand for transport outstripped a supply.
Watoto wamekuwa wengi shule, yani this position this time watoto wamefungua pamoja wote, shule zote zinafungua siku moja. Sasa inakuwa hectic na inakuwa ni shida sana sababu shule zote kwa siku moja.
At Blue Line bus terminal, students had to wait for long hours before boarding the available shuttles.
Ile kitu tunafanya pande ile ingine tunatuma gari na less watu wachache ndio zikuje zichukue watu pande hii wale, sababu huko ndio wengi, so kule zinatoka na less, hapa zikuje zinasaidia hao wenye wako pande hii.
I'm here to bring my son. He's going back to school, and we've been here like for an hour, and we are hoping, because we've already cut our ticket to Bungoma, so we are hoping we're going to get our vehicle to Bungoma today, because they resume school today.
But even as parents continue to flock different bus stations to ensure that the children report back to school right on time. On the other hand, a section of parents do not know whether their children will be reporting back to school due to the ongoing rains that have rendered some roads impassable and classes flooded. In Baringo County, hundreds of students may fail to report for second term. Close to 15 schools will not resume learning following floods that wreaked havoc during the April holidays. Learners in Mogorwa, Lebatai and Eitui primary schools in Baringo Central will not access the schools after landslides affected the roads and households in the area.
The floods has caused a lot of havoc in Baringo, to the east of the capital Gabarnet and to the west of capital Gabarnet. The rain that bounded this area since yesterday has been huge, and even the other day.
Shule mzima, hata njia mahali wanafunzi watapitia, maji imezingira compound yetu ya shule. Hata jirani hapo imekuwa mahali tumepitia mpaka tufike shule, kweli haitapitika, ni maji tu, almost 1 kilometer.
Sintan, Ngambo, Loropil, Longwan, Laswan primary schools and Ngambo High School are among schools affected in parts of Baringo South.
As we talk now, 15 schools are unable to open because they have been submerged in waters, especially in Loboi area, the entire Marigat area in El Chamus community, and the Kerio Valley in the Baringo North and towards Tiati.
Shule haitafungwa kwa kuonekana, na that's a real sense haitawezekana kabisa, kwa sababu mahali watoto watapitia kufika shule hiyo itakuwa mbaya sana. So aomba tu serikali watafutie wanafunzi mahali pengine ambao wataenda kusoma wakifungua shule.
It is an even-day situation in Tana River County, where about 70 public schools failed to reopen for second term as the effects of the ongoing floods that has hit the region continues to bite. This amid continued fears that more schools could be affected, with the Meteorological Department forecasting rainfall to continue over several parts of the country with an increased intensity over the coastal region. Brenda Zeda Radido, Channel 1 News.
Thank you very much, Brenda, for that report. The World Health Organization has confirmed the latest polio virus in the country. A patient from Isilika, Mkunji, Nairobi, was diagnosed with the virus early last month, with reports indicating that he might have contracted the disease from a leaking sewage around the area. The latest case comes as WHO calls on the country to provide information on surveillance on high-risk and mobile population for purposes of sustained tracking of the virus.
The hope of Kenya being declared a polio-free country has been dealt a blow after the latest strain of poliovirus was reported in the country. The World Health Organization has confirmed a case in Eastleigh, and that report indicates that the virus could have originated from a leaking sewage around the area.
Katika kuangalia kuhakikisha kwamba huu ugonjwa huo hautokei, tumeongeza juhudi za kufanya surveillance hata kwenye sewage. Kwa hiyo katika sewage tumeweza kuona kwamba mbona huyu mdudu anaonekana huko ndani na hatupati mtoto. Kwa hiyo hatuwezi kusubiri kwamba tumpate mtoto. Ndio maana unaona sasa tuseme njooni mtushauri tufanye nini. Ingawa tumeanza kutoa chanjo. Kwa hiyo tunakinga kabla madhara hajafanya nini, mtoto wetu hajalemaa.
The Horn of Africa WHO Technical Advisory Group says the organization is taking drastic measures to ensure the virus is contained.
Are taken from sewage, and then it is sent to the lab for analysis, and during that analysis we found what we call vaccine-derived poliovirus. It's a virus that can paralyze, but it has not yet paralyzed anyone.
Based on the latest reported case, WHO now wants the country to review and make recommendations on its surveillance to high-risk and mobile population and provide risk mitigation strategies.
I'm confident that if the whole Horn of Africa works together with a very clear-cut indication and clear-cut recommendations that we have always tried to do, in 6 months we should finish with this issue.
It is also calling on the country to plan for strengthening basic immunization services and focus on building and sustaining demand for immunization, particularly in the high-risk groups.
It was a narrow escape for 5 children from Kisulisuli Primary School in Nakuru County after pit latrine caved in. 2 of the 5 are nursing minor injuries at the Nakuru Level 5 hospital, where they were rushed for treatment.
The spate of death and destruction witnessed in the wake of the heavy downpour experienced in various parts of the country this morning almost claimed the lives of 5 Class 1 pupils from Kisulisuli Primary School after the school's toilets collapsed while under use.
Tulikuwa pale jikoni tukitayarisha lunch ya watoto. Sasa kwa hilo tulikuwa tumekaa pale tukasikia kishindo kikubwa. Wakati sasa tulikimbia tukakuja, si ndio tulikuwa watu wa kwanza kufika hapa na mwalimu mwenye alikuwa tuti. Sasa wakati tulifika tulikuta watoto wawili wameumia vibaya sana na wengine waliokolewa.
The incident, which occurred during day 1 of the second school term, resulted in 2 of the victims suffering minor injuries, receiving treatment at the Nakuru Level 5 hospital, with the incident blamed on poor drainage of the floodwaters from Nakuru town, which have weakened the structure of the toilets, leading to their collapse. Shaken witnesses and irate locals are now calling on the local administration to ensure that the drainage issue is addressed before it threatens more lives.
Tuko na shida ya drainage. Maji inateremkaga, hata juzi imepeleka mtu hapa. Na tujui amepatikana ama hajapatikana. Kwa hivyo tungeomba MP wetu Gekaria atushughulikie. Hapa kuna shida kabisa ya maji. Na kama watoto wetu wataanguka kwa sewage hii, kwa choo hivi, tungeomba watoto shule ijengwe, iwekewe shule ile maji ya kufresh. Hatutaki hii macho ya shimo.
A Mata Nakuru County Executive Committee member for Education, Raymond Common, promised to take up.
A team of surveyors are coming to map out a better ground where we will build toilets on an emergency basis. In fact, we'll embark on it today and hope that we'll have toilets to replace these so that the children are not inconvenienced.
Various parts of the country have suffered the brunt of poor drainage, with raging floods sweeping away lives and property. Victor Moyakane, Channel 1.
A family in Samburu is seeking justice after their Form 1 female student was raped by a man in the town. Meanwhile, a section of leaders from Laikipia County have faulted an ongoing security operation targeting bandits accused of orchestrating acts of criminality. Details on this and many more in news making headlines in the counties.
Over 3,000 fishmongers around Lake Naivasha want the government to reclaim one of the largest corridor leading to Karagita Landing Beach. This is after the High Court ruled in favor of a private developer who wants to block the road. They claim they rely on the corridor for their family's daily bread.
Kuna kitu katika sheria inaitwa Acquisition Act, Compulsory Acquisition Act. Kama basi ni ya mwenyewe, serikali iko na fedha, itumie pesa ichukue hii kwa rasima.
Separately, a family in Samburu is seeking for justice after their Form 1 daughter was allegedly raped by a man from the town. The victim's parents claim to have identified the man behind their daughter's ordeal and filed a report at the Samburu police station, but in vain. Doctor's report, however, confirms that the Form 1 student was sexually abused.
Alikuwa anatumika, alikuwa anaona huyo mmoja ndiye alimtumia, lakini huwezi jua wakati alikuwa amejikosa kujijua kabisa alitumiwa na wangapi.
While a section of leaders from Laikipia County have faulted the ongoing security operation targeting bandits accused of orchestrating acts of criminality. The group accuses security agents of blatant disregard of the rule of the law after about 200 houses believed to be owned by illegal grazers in Rumuruti area were destroyed. In Mombasa, the Kenya Film Classification Board, KFCB, has issued a 24-hour notice to an insurance company to pull down what it terms as offensive billboards mounted at various locations in the county. KFCB Coast Regional Manager Bonventure Kioko says the billboards violates regulations of the Consumer Watchdog Agency. And the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, has satisfactorily concluded 734 complaints from members of the public against police officers in the last 3 years in an expedited bid for justice to complainants. The authority's vice chairperson, Jidaida Nsoyai, says of the 9,400 complaints received, 4,000 have been referred to other authorities for further investigation before determination. She was speaking in Nakuru after commissioning the IPOA Nakuru Region Office. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 News Hour.
Thank you very much, Irene Mchuma Odim, for that report tonight. We want to get your view on the speech which the President delivered today. It was the State of the Nation address, and I have a couple of responses here. This is from Simon Ndonga. You were saying the speech was classic, but we Kenyans expect it, His Excellency was to say something based on how to compensate the persons who lost their lives during the last election of 2017. Thank you very much for that response. I have another one here. Emmanuel from Kisii, you're saying the speech was for prosperity of the country. Thank you very much for that. Hi, I am Bernard from Limuru, Kiambu. I applaud President Uhuru Kenyatta for the speech he gave. It has reignited the flame in Kenya's hearts that had been extinguished. Thank you very much for that report. Kenneth from Kikuyu, you're saying the speech was excellent. It's high time these leaders know unity is all we want in this country. Hongera to Honorable Babu Bueno. And I have another one here. The speech was one of the best speeches ever given by a sitting president. The head of state has the nation at heart and craves for lasting unity from all the political divide. Kudos, Mr. President. This is Eric Imbiaka watching from Shamahoho, Vihiga County. Thank you very much, Eric, for that SMS. Beatrice Loatum from Chapareria, West Pokot, you're saying the president was showing us he is a real patriot. God bless our president. And another one here, Stanley Tabu at Makanyango. You're saying shaking hands with Raila means security and forgetting the politics. We do thank you for those remarks. Of course, the bulletin, we still have some minutes to go. Don't go too far. You can keep sending in those thoughts. The number is 22162. What is your view on the president's speech?
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, and amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes.
Some they pay no mind, but now them note it's blue. So take your ones, your 50s, put your hundreds to your shoes. And to my fans, you know I love you. There's no way to the world. No, we may. But watch our lives passes by. We might weather.
And I hope
Let's now shift gears to business, where players in the information industry are urging the government to scrap taxes on ICT items, saying it is curtailing on the growth of the sector. Techno Brain Managing Director Manoj Shankar says the 16% value-added tax on imported ICT equipment has made Kenya an expensive business destination. In response, Deputy President William Ruto said the government is looking at offering tax holidays to spur growth in the ICT sector.
In the year 2013, the government imposed a 16% value-added tax on mobile phones, laptops, and other ICT equipment in a move that was widely criticized by industry players. Though overall the sector grew by 11% in the year 2017, the number of internet service providers dropped from 242 to 219, with majority of them moving to Rwanda and Tanzania due to better tax incentives.
It actually gives so many incentives to their companies, for example, tax holidays and waiver of duties on their infrastructure, etc. That makes them much more competitive than we are. So at the end of the day, it's not only a question of talent, but it's also a question about the cost. We may have a talent, but if we are expensive, then we will not be able to compete against the likes of China and India.
The 2018 economic survey shows that the value of investment by the telecommunication players dropped by 26% to 38 billion shillings in 2017. Speaking during the unveiling of Microsoft Research and Testing Center, Deputy President William Ruto said the government is looking at the challenges facing the ICT sector and will soon unveil a package of tax incentives to give the country a competitive edge.
Technology is playing a significant role which will increase as we progress in realizing our ambition to transition from the margins into the mainstream of the global economy.
The testing center, which is the first in Africa and the fourth in the world, is expected to create 1,000 jobs in the next 3 years, training thousands of people on cutting-edge technology like applications and programs development.
The young engineers here are playing a critical part in ensuring the success for our customers who have spent money on their assets, be it applications and devices, and are going to be assured that it will be successful, it will be useful, and they'll have a great experience with Windows.
TechUben has developed 70 solutions and 15 products, and many of them are Microsoft technology. So that also gave us a unique advantage of having experience, knowledge, and skill sets on Microsoft technology to do the testing work for Microsoft here.
The Deputy President further said the government has accelerated the rollout of the national fiber optic backbone infrastructure that will avail high-speed and low-cost broadband to all the 47 counties once completed. O'Brien, Committee for Business, NewsHour.